Hey everybody, Bill Miller again. This is my second video of the day. Just posted another one a couple of hours ago, and I've been hard at it ever since. And I just have something I kind of wanted to talk about because I don't think I really have yet. And it is, I feel like it's something that's very common, if not 100% of the time, 99% of the time. That abusers abuse. What we do every single time, what I did every time, and what current abusers do every time, basically is the blame game. Blaming your spouse or your partner on making you mad, on whatever your reaction is, whatever form of abuse you just doled out. Whether it be, calling her a bitch, insulting her, throwing her on the bed, slapping her, neglecting her, leaving and making her feel like you're not coming back, ignoring her, not being intimate with her, whatever it is. The thing that is something that's super common, that's absolutely vital, that needs to change in you if you're really going to overcome this, is the blame game. You are responsible for your actions every single time, without exception, every time. If you're finding yourself saying that you are reacting to her abuse, like if she's being abusive to you and your reaction is to be abusive back, still wrong. You can't blame her. She can call you a big fat piece of shit, and if your reaction is to call her a bitch, that's still wrong on your part. It's still you deciding to abuse. She didn't force you to call her a bitch. She might have abused you, but you abusing her back doesn't make it right. It doesn't make you right. It doesn't make it right. You're still responsible for that. It's still 100% your fault that you abused her. It's also her fault that she abused you, but that's beside the point. You're taking responsibility for you. We're only working on ourselves right now. It's just something that's really important, and kind of just let me give you a quick example. So driving down the road, and I might have already said this in one of my videos, but anyway, driving down the road, you got kids in the car, the wife in the car, and somebody literally swerves right into your lane and runs you off on the shoulder. Almost kills you. They're not paying attention, or they're on their cell phones or whatever the case is, but they swerve. They kind of merge into your lane and force you to go off onto the shoulder and either slam on your brakes or whatever you need to do to protect your family. So you're livid. That person made you mad. I mean, almost every single time you would say, damn right, that's understandable. It's just still not understandable. That person didn't make you mad. The way you perceived that is what made you mad. As an example, I can use that one, and I'd like to use that one because I have a lot of first-hand experience with that. And I guess I did talk about this, but I have a lot of first-hand experience in that. I've driven almost 1 million miles in my life now. It's happened to me a lot, but it's also happened a lot. I've done it more than once, several times, while eating, while on my phone, while trying to pick something up off the floor, while spilling something in my lap, while being completely distracted because I've got something on my mind. I'm stressed, I'm crying, I'm upset, I'm just distracted, I'm not paying attention to my driving, by sleeping wrong because I got a new pillow and I have a really stiff neck and I can't look over my shoulders to look for the car in your blind spot. That's happened. There are dozens of reasons that could happen. And you're absolutely kidding yourself if you're going to sit here and say that you haven't done it yourself. That's just not true. That's a lie. And so to get that mad at someone, or to perceive them doing it in a way that's going to make you really mad, and drive like an idiot, go around them, slam on your brakes in front of them, get out of your car, flip them off, yell at them, cuss at them, make an ass of yourself in front of your kids, so now they're scared to, you know what I mean? Like, that's a bad thing to do to your kids, because now they're always going to have that in their mind, like, don't make dad mad because this is how he reacts. Your wife, same, like, this is how he reacts when he's mad. I better not make him mad, or I'm not going to make him mad, right now, because I don't want to deal with that. Or there's like what I do, and it's a true story. Like, it's happened to me so many times, and every single time I just go, I've done that a time or two, and I slow down, I get over, I merge, I give them a wave and a head nod, like, I get it. I've done that, I've done that a half dozen times in my life. I've done that a dozen times in my life. I'm like, I don't know what they have going on, and I don't pretend to know. All I know is I've done the same thing. It doesn't make me mad at all. Now, if I crashed, if they ran me off the road, it probably, I would be, concerned for my kids' health and my health and things of that nature. But at the same time, it's just something that we all do while driving. Sometimes we're just preoccupied. Sometimes we don't pay attention. Sometimes we're fucking stressed. Sometimes we're tired as shit. Is what it is, So my reaction to the exact same thing has always been, and it's one thing that I can say I'm good at, is I'm like, ooh, shit, that sucks. Like, I don't try to guess what their problem is. I'm like, ooh, that sucks. Slow down or speed up, whatever the, whatever the situation calls for. Get back on the road, and if I happen to pass them and wave, I usually just wave and give them a nod, like, it's okay, I get it, you know what I mean? So 98 out of 100 people would be pissed off, livid, cussing, flipping off. Another way to react would be like, I get it, I've done that, no harm, like, no harm, no foul. Or even if there's a little harm, like you swerve off the road and you fear for your kids' lives, it's still not done intentionally, not anything that you probably haven't done, maybe even without even knowing that you did it. So that's my example of, you are always responsible for your anger, always. Even if, your wife slaps you and you slap her back, you're still responsible for your own reaction. That's not, she slapped me first so I slapped her back, justified. No, that's not, she deserved it because she hit me. No, that's not self-defense. No, like, self-defense is, you fear for your life and your health, and you're defending yourself. If you slap her because she slaps you, you do that out of anger. That's not self-defense, that's abuse. If she goes to slap you and you block it because it's instinct and you don't want to get hit, that's self-defense. But you're not hitting her, you're blocking her from hitting you. You know what I mean? That would be self-defense. You hitting her back, you pushing her after she punches you in the head or whatever, that's not self-defense. That's still abuse, because now you're just reacting to her abuse with more abuse. So that's just something that I've been thinking about. I've done a lot. I've done so many chapters of this, and it's cool because it's helping a ton. On this last chapter, let me give you a quick example here. It gives you some situations. And then you have your angry thoughts and your calming thoughts. One example, your partner says you act like a child when you get mad about something. So your angry thought would be like, fuck you, bitch, I don't act like a child. Like, you calling me a child is childish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You're pissed because she says you act like a child when you get mad. So that would be an angry thought that would probably lead to her reacting like, you know what I mean? It would be an argument every time. Like, especially if you're like, F you, no I don't, or whatever, you act like a child. She calls you a name, so then you turn around and call her a name, which is very, very common, because now you feel like it's on, like, ooh, now it's a battle between you two because she just called you a name that you don't feel like you deserve. So now you're going to call her a name back. Well, at least I'm not, this or that or whatever you say, to instill pain or to insult her the way she just insulted you. That would be an angry reaction, which would lead to an argument, which is both of you getting outside of your box, and then after that's done, like, you didn't resolve anything other than call each other names and abuse each other, and now you have just a little bit less respect for one another. That's all you accomplished there. Otherwise, there's a calming way. So she says you act childish when you get mad about something. And you're like, well, maybe I do. Like, how would I, like, if I saw someone else act the way I act when they're mad, I'd probably think the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be humble. It's okay to, like, be called out on your shit and not take huge offense to it. And maybe she could have gone about it a different way, rather than saying you act like a child. Maybe not, but you still are you're controlling yourself. And you're like, yeah, you know what? Like, she acts that way, and I feel like she acts like a child too. Like, when she gets mad and throws a temper tantrum and throws a dish, I feel like she's acting childish. So yeah, I probably am acting childish. And admitting that, like, being humble enough to be like, yeah, I probably was acting childish. That was stupid. Would just end it right there, and that's all just because, like, you're humbled. You see each other as equals. You're not offended. You're not, like, so thin-skinned that she's can't just speak freely and say what she's thinking, for fear of you freaking out on her and causing a big abusive argument. Instead, she can say that, and you can be like, yep, you're right. That was pretty childish of me. My bad. You know what I mean? And just move on. No harm, no foul. She probably feels, like, next time she probably wouldn't say that. I mean, to be fair, she'd be like, I probably shouldn't have said that about you. Like, I probably shouldn't have said that. If she doesn't say that, she probably would at least think it. Like, that wasn't childish. That was actually pretty mature, the way he handled that. Him freaking out, yelling, cussing, screaming, that's childish. Like, a little temper tantrum, that is childish. So you reacting that way is just furthering her point. But you reacting calmly and saying, yep, that might have been a little childish. Like, sorry about that. Now it's over. No hard feelings, no loss of respect. I mean, you might be a little upset that she called you childish, but chances are she'll either apologize or not do it again, because you handled things very maturely after that. You handled things maturely. And so that kind of ends it right there, you know what I mean? And it's just because you handled things in a calming way versus an angry way, which always escalates and then it just becomes a shit show. Let's see. This is another one. You notice your neighbor looking at your partner, at your wife. Your neighbor obviously finds her attractive. This is really common with me. We own a bar. My wife dresses, very scantily at times. I shouldn't say scantily. She shows a lot of skin, and she has an amazing body. And we're at a bar where everyone's drinking, and when they're drinking, their inhibitions go down. They say a lot of very rude things. A lot of things that they probably wouldn't say if they're drunk, and a lot of things they definitely wouldn't say around me. But they say them to her when I'm not around. So your angry thoughts, your bad way of handling it is, for me, one of them is, well, you bring it on with the way you dress. Like, yeah, you show half your, you show, an inch from your private parts. So what do you expect them to say? They sit here and stare at your ass all day long. Like, you bring that on yourself or whatever, which that is just insulting. Like, she should be able to dress how she wants and be treated with respect and expect to be treated with respect by people. And if they don't, you can't change them, but it's still not her fault that other people are rude and ugly. me adding to it by saying, yeah, you bring that on yourself because of the way you dress, that's still abuse. Like that's me making her, every time she gets dressed now, she's like, is he going to criticize me, or does he think I'm, dressing, provocatively or whatever it is, instead of just feeling free and comfortable to wear whatever she wants. Now, my situation, I mean, the bar is a little bit different, because you are on display with, bending over, reaching up over your head, and there is a bit of, I don't know, respect, that you'd kind of would hope that, I don't think she would like it if it was reversed in this particular example, but back to the neighbor looking at your partner, and obviously thinks she's attractive, making your wife feel like it's her fault would be just a way to invoke anger in an argument, and it would, leading to abuse. Making her feel bad for being attractive is never the right answer. Like, she's, everyone would take pride if they're, you present yourself well, you clean yourself up, you take care of your hair, your nails, what you wear, you like to look nice, and if people notice it, it feels nice. I mean, it just does. You don't do it for the compliments, but if someone happens to go, geez, you look really, really nice, you're, whatever, you look great today, whatever it is, but it's not her fault that she's attractive. And if the neighbor thinks she's attractive, well, you know what, so did I. I mean, duh. There's a time, I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off of her when we were together. I mean, every day I'm in awe of how gorgeous she is. So my neighbor looking at her, couldn't be any more normal. As long as he doesn't cross a line and try to do something, which, that's not in this scenario. It's just, he looks at her and he obviously thinks she's attractive. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We all think people are attractive. That's just normal human behavior. If something was pursued, then it would be different, and I'm sure she would shoot it down in a heartbeat. So my calming thoughts would be just that. Like, yeah, she is hot. And if he ever tried to do anything with her, she would, number one, shoot him down. Number two, tell me what he tried to do. And you know what I mean? Like, and the last thing she would ever do is cheat on me, or secretly, have some thing going with my neighbor just because he thinks she's attractive. Like, the calming thoughts are just that. Like, yeah, she's gorgeous. I mean, if I notice gorgeous people when she walks by. My wife notices gorgeous guys when they go by. Like, it's okay. It's normal human behavior to find other people attractive. It's only if you do something to pursue it further than that then it becomes wrong, and that's not in this case. It's just that. So the calming thoughts are that, and it leads to literally nothing at all. So it's just important to control yourself, control your thought. Your thoughts dictate everything, absolutely everything. Your thoughts dictate how you react, how you respond. There's nobody responsible for them. The neighbor looking at your wife, two different things. Your thoughts could be anger, insecurity. He's probably going to try to have sex with her, or he probably is going to try to hit on her or whatever. And now you're mad. Now you hate your neighbor and you want to kick his ass. Now you're blaming your wife for dressing certain ways, or working out in the yard, or sunbathing. All of those things are your control, and they're all abusive and they're all negative, and that's all. But it's not anyone's fault but your own. Neighbor didn't do anything wrong. Your wife certainly didn't do anything wrong. You're the only one that did something wrong there. Likewise, your calming one, where yeah, you don't blame him at all. She is attractive. I looked at her too the first time I saw her, and I've looked at her every day since, and I can't take my eyes off her. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, and it leads to no argument, no abuse, no my wife feeling bad about what she wears, or me hating my neighbor. It just means, yeah, she's attractive. Every guy that sees her thinks she's attractive. Duh. Like, no big deal, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's that. Don't forget, you are responsible 100% for you. No one else can make you mad. The way you perceive things makes you mad. Okay, till next time.